life and the wonder of this moment. The wonder of being together, again, so close and yet still apart. We gather each hidden in our own secret chamber, each listening, each trying to speak, yet none fully understanding, none fully understood. We gather in reverence before all intangible things that eyes see not, nor ears can detect, that hands can never touch, that space cannot hold, and time cannot measure. We gather in reverence before the wonder of life. Welcome to our Wednesday evening chapel. My name is Barbara Prose, and I'm so happy to welcome you here in our sanctuary and online this second week, I think it is in March. And would you please join me at home or in the sanctuary in saying the words of our covenant? Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Well done.
This is actually a special request I'm sending out, and this is called Canon. It's by the composer Johann Pachelbel.
Thank you, Rick. That was just beautiful. And our opening words were from Sophia Lyon-Fawes, who was one of our pioneer women, great religious educator, very well known in our liberal, now progressive faith. Sophia Lyon-Fawes. Those were our opening words. And I have a story to tell you, written by Sue Monk Kidd, another powerful woman writer in this Women's History Month. So sit back and enjoy the story. "Mama, can I ride my bike to school?" he said. I didn't answer immediately. Instead, my mind tumbled back to his first day of school. It had been hard to let him go, so small and untouched, into the risks and hurts of the world. It had seemed he was stepping over an invisible line and nothing would ever be the same again. He'd walked into his classroom slowly, then turned and waved. I'd watched, feeling something tear up inside me. Now those same unsettling echoes of finality rippled through me again. A 7-year-old going to school and back on his own, pedaling by himself without me? I don't think so, I replied. But it's not far. No. I'll be 8 soon. His face was crunched up with longing so much that I had to look away. Not yet, I said quietly. He started to argue again, but thought better of it. We drove home in silence together. Each day it was the same tug of war. Mama, what about today? Can I ride my bike today? We pulled that little piece of freedom back and forth. Probably it was silly. The trip was 5 blocks in a safe small-town neighborhood, but I couldn't seem to help it. Surely I wasn't wrong to be so protective, I told myself. I'm not a baby anymore, he explained to me one Friday night as I told him goodnight. No, I suppose not. Saturday dawned, the perfect autumn day, bright and cool with a breezy wind that had blown the clouds high. I took the children to the mall. Remember the mall? As we walked along, peering in store windows, we noticed a man with a cluster of helium-filled balloons, and we bought 2, one blue and one silver. The man placed the strings in Bob's and Anne's hands, and the children strolled away, pulling the balloons casually through the air. Watch out, I said, pointing up to where 6 escaped balloons hung from the ceiling. That was all it took. They wound the strings around their wrists with nervous glances upward. As we emerged from a store into the gilded afternoon, sure enough, the inevitable happened. Bob stumbled on the curb, and as he reached out to catch himself, the string slipped away as balloons sailed over the parking lot, the little string waving behind it. He stood there and gaped at it with disappointment. I braced for his protests. But as the balloon floated higher and higher, climbing to an astonishing height, his face changed from sadness to surprise, even pride. Wow, look how high my balloon is going. It really was a spectacle, lots more thrilling than the sight of it bobbing just above his head. Standing beside her brother, still clutching her balloon, Anne spontaneously opened her palm and let it go. It swept up to the sky, chasing after the other one. We pointed at them, laughing and exclaiming till they were nearly out of sight. Back home, as I pulled into the carport, the first thing I spotted was Bob's bicycle leaning against the bricks. It was plain to me I was holding on too tightly, keeping Bob from the horizons in his world. My son was a balloon tied to my wrist. If I kept him there, he would be safe and sheltered, but he wouldn't go very far. On Monday, once again, the sky was inordinately bright and blue, not a hint of the rain I almost wished would come and postpone the moment. Bob climbed on his bicycle, trying to look grown up to suppress his eagerness. I took a deep breath. Okay, God, he's in your hands. It was a small thing, letting him make his own way to school. So small, one might wonder why I'm even writing about it. My answer is because sometimes you can glimpse the essence of something in a tiny fragment of it, like seeing the oak in the acorn or the ocean in a wave. So much of parenthood is negotiating endings, the unceasing process of disconnecting the strings that tie our children to us, preparing them for a life on their own. That has always been the ache and beauty of it for me. Taking the deep breath and trusting somehow in the goodness of life, in something beyond myself. At the edge of the driveway, Bob stopped and looked back at me over his shoulder. Mama, what? Don't worry, I'll be fine, okay? Okay. I watched him pedal down the street. Then he was gone, disappearing into the morning. So if you would please take another deep breath with me. And imagine something in your life that you're holding onto, something that's tied to your wrist like a string. Maybe somebody that you're holding back or somebody that's holding you back, just some attachment that you know it's time to release, and then we will pray together. God of our understanding, we know we are here on this earth to be fully ourselves, to be true to the acorn in us that is meant and intended to grow into an acorn, a giant oak tree. We know that our purpose here is to be fully ourselves, to not hold back, to trust, to let go, to move on. So in the dark of night or in the bright noon of day, when we feel ourselves clinging, we also ask to feel your presence, the presence of love, of truth, of courage, of hope, of joy, of forgiveness. Please gift us with whatever we need to loosen those ties, not the ones that bind us together, but those that hold us back. Help us release whatever is ready to be released so that we can continue to grow whole in our own eyes, in our relationships with each other and with you. These and the many prayers of our hearts we lift up together now in a few moments of silence. Amen.
Would you like to fly in my beautiful balloon?
You're the best, Rick. He's the
It
best.
takes one to know one. Thank you.
So I have a few more props for us this
Yes.
evening. So it's occurred to me in this past week, and our theme this month is letting go, that we're really asked to do more letting go in life than we are asked to hold on. Really, from the very beginning, we have to let go of our childhood, and then we meet some challenges and we fail at others, and we have to let go of those dreams we have as children, and then we have to leave home. And it's just right from the beginning. Even with my little 3-month-old grandbaby, I'm letting go of her infancy because she's already changing and holding her head up. So already there's so much hope and promise, but there's already letting go. The older we get, the more experience we have letting go, gracefully or not gracefully. We start having to let go of that first love, or let go of that first marriage, or let go of that so close friend, or let go of that job we loved, or let go of that image of ourselves that we held, or let go of these ideas we had about somebody else in our lives. It's a continual process of letting go. I love all our themes, but letting go might be, I think it's one of the most important ones of all, because I think mastering the art of letting go might be one of the most important life skills to master if we're going to find happiness despite all the loss and letting go that we're each faced with. And I was thinking that the thing is, we can't prevent the letting go and the loss, but we can think about how we let go, because there are different ways to let go. So I'm familiar with one, which I will not reenact completely, but I wanted a hammer. Sometimes I am so angry about having to let go of something that I really don't want to let go of. I'm ready to just, it would make a big noise and it would smash this mug on the floor, because it's sometimes easier to let go and be pissed off. So that's one way. in anger, a fit of rage, break everything, turn away, act like we don't care. Maybe some of you have tried that technique. You might have hurt yourself in the doing. It's a little dangerous. And then, sometimes things feel like they're tied up in knots, and we need to get out. It's confining, it's tangled, it's not clear, communication's hard. So one way is to just cut it. Just clean break, over, I'm not talking to you again, we're not friends anymore, I'm getting divorced, I'm disowning you, I'm not coming home for Thanksgiving. And it's hard to repair this. And there's another way, which is a little more gentle, which is untying. It takes a little more time, takes a little more intention, a little more skill, a little less damaging, a little less violent, a little more chance of making a different choice in the future, right? I don't need to suture anything back. Nobody needs anesthesia. I can, this could be a relationship again. The ties are healthy and strong. And then I thought, in the story, the first time the balloon, when the little boy loses the balloon, is because his hand just opens, right? So sometimes, when you don't want to let go and you're like this, you're just like grabbing on, or you're like, no, I don't want that person to die, or no, I don't want my child to go abroad, or I don't want them to get that job, or I don't want them to fall in love with that person, whatever it is. Again, one way to let go of this can would be to do that, drop it. And then I have no control, right? And I'm lucky that didn't go worse than it just did. It's just gone. I let it go because it's like a hot potato, too hot, I can't handle it. But there's another way, is just to slowly release my grip, but with my hand turned up, right? Just to release. And then see what needs to happen next. So I want you to do that with me for a minute. Just make a fist, a really tight fist, and imagine that thing that you're holding on to, that thing that you're resisting. And then turn your hand over and just drop it and see how that feels. And now make your fist again, fist, palm up. Imagine that thing you're holding on to, you don't want to let go of, that resentment, the anger, the jealousy, whatever it is, the apathy, the depression. And then this time, open your hand really slowly, but keep your palm up. And see how that feels, and what your relationship is to that thing you're holding on to. And remember this week, as you go into your week, that you have choices about how you let go. And remember the children in the story who at first were horrified when their balloons floated away, and then were amazed at how high they went. Our offering this evening goes to the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee, which is working tirelessly in Ukraine and in Poland on the ground, helping those 1 million+ refugees get the legal representation and food and medical attention that they need. So we'll now gratefully receive our evening's offering, and please give generously as you're able. Thank you so much. Whatever you're holding on to that's holding you back, know that you can let it go. And then you will be better able, your eyes will be better able to see beauty, your lips will be better able to speak truth, your heart will be more ready for love, and your hands will be more ready to do the good works of this world all the days of your life. Go and be blessed and be a blessing. Amen.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.